This is my baby now.
Hey everybody, we are back. We are talking about what's coming up for the cruise. We have so much going on. Time is running out. So I wanted to put together a short video to go over just different things that we need to take care of before the cruise, when we get to the hotel, during the cruise, and then after the cruise. So for part one, we're going to be going over just the check-in process. So check-in for our cruise is June 22nd. If you have already downloaded the Carnival Hub app, you'll see it says check-in on June 22nd. Can't do anything until that date. So with that being said, June 22nd, for this is depending on the time zone, I think it's midnight EST. You can get online check-in, try to get you a early check-in time. I usually do that as well, but we do know that once we get to the hotel and get on, wait on our shuttle to take us to the cruise port, it might be a little bit later than check-in, which is fine. But I just like to go ahead and make sure that we're all checked in and ready to go. Check-in just basically is giving you a reserved time to get on the ship. So if you check in, for example, a 10:30 check-in time, and you arrive at 9, I don't think we get on the boat that early, but they're not going to let you check in officially until you get to that time. And they usually have lines and areas designated for those particular check-in times. So June 22nd, I'll send out like an emergency blast or something on Facebook letting everybody know when it's time or when they can check in. And again, optional to get up or stay up late and check in at midnight to get an early time, not required. You can wait till the next day and check in at whatever time and get a check-in time. Just remember, if you check in, we're all gonna get on the ship. So it's a vacation, relax, take your time. Okay, so let's talk travel documents. When traveling, you need to have valid ID to board a ship. If you do not, they will turn you away. I would hate to see anybody on sidelines when we are all leaving, because I will wave by. So just make sure that when you are traveling, you look at your driver's license. Make sure there are at least a 6-month span in before an expiration date. Make sure that you have your birth certificate, 2 forms of ID, 100%. If you're traveling with a child, make sure you bring their birth certificate. If they're like of school age, maybe they have a school ID or some other form of ID that has a picture on it, just to be on the safe side. But birth certificates usually work. When we travel with the kids, we only would usually bring their birth certificate. So, and because they're going to be a part of the same check-in process. When you check in, they take like a picture of you and attach it to your specific sail away card, so that every time you leave the boat and get back in, it compares your picture. So make sure you have all that. Anthony and I travel with passports. I keep them in this little plastic container because one thing I like to let you guys know, they need to be on you at all times. So when you get to the cruise port and check in your bag, you do not want these in your checked luggage. And one thing about it, the cruise porters are really good. Like, hey, do you have your documents? You have your boarding pass, your tags, all that stuff. So we keep these in. I always have a backpack on, so I keep this in my backpack. So when we go check in, I can give them all the documents. Every time we get off the ship, we keep this on us. We, God forbid that we get left at one of the ports. At least I have my travel documents with me to where if I need to make other arrangements, but we don't never want to see that happen. So I keep everything in here, keep it nice and dry. I keep like an extra pen and just any other things that I need to keep a hold of for quick access. I also would put my boarding pass in here once I'm finished checking in, and any additional important information to make sure that I keep it with us. One thing they do have on the ships in your room is a safe. You can store important documents like this with you, just to keep it safe from anything. But me personally, I just keep it on me. So just make sure you have your passport or birth certificate and valid driver's license when traveling. All right, for our group, we booked the Renaissance Hotel, airport hotel. And it will have a free shuttle that will take everyone from the airport back to the hotel, and you can check in. If you need details on that hotel and have not booked, just let us know and we can share that information with you so you can get booked and set up. One thing we would like to say is, again, the last day to book your room is June 5th. Now, as I mentioned, the Orlando is 45 minutes from the cruise port, so that you would have to find transportation from the cruise port, or excuse me, from the hotel to the cruise port, and then when we get back from the cruise port back to the airport. We are using a service, what is known as GoPort. They have the 50 passenger buses that will come pick us up from the hotel, take us to the cruise port, and then when we get back from our trip, they will be there to pick us up and take us back to the airport. I also can share details with that service. You can go in there and book your round trip. You can book your one way, however you want to do it. But I did list details in the email that explains how to book and make sure that you're set to go. Make sure you're selecting the correct dates, the correct ships, and all your correct times. We don't want it. I've made the mistake of booking a shuttle for the wrong dates. It happens when you're rushing and just trying to get things done too fast. So just take your time, make sure everything's booked. I always have Anthony look over it. He's my checks and balances person when I get to rushing sometimes. So just make sure that you get those dates in order. And then if you choose not to go with GoPort, again, this is totally optional. There are other services. There are private shuttles. There are, I can't think of any other specific names, but you can always even use Uber and Lyft. So just make sure you compare prices, see what's best for you to get back and forth. And we want to make sure everybody arrives at the ship safely and return back to the airport safely as well. Okay, talking about check-in, when you check in, this is when all your documents from Carnival will be available for you to access them. And the two documents that you need to print once you did all your check-in, all the check-in processes and everything are your bag tags and your boarding pass. When we say bag tags, just make sure you separate flights from ship. When you get to the cruise port, there are people waiting outside their terminal that will take your larger bags and bring them to your room for you while we wait for our rooms to be ready to board the ship. With that being said, these are bag tags. You will print them. You can take them and fold them up just like I have here and staple them to your bag. You do not do this until we get to the cruise port. We do not want to travel in the airport with these on. These are strictly for the cruise. Again, the nerd in me, discovered these little bag tag plastic holders on Amazon. I think they were like $3 or $4 with these nice little hooks on it to strap to your bag. The reason why we are going out of Florida, and I don't want anybody to freak out, but there's times, even when Anthony and I have traveled, and when we first get on the ship, it's pouring down raining. That's Florida. It'll rain for 5 minutes, and then the next few seconds, it'll be sunny. But I kind of had a fear of my bag tag getting wet, so I like these little containers to put them in. Again, very optional, but that's just something that I have moved on to. It's hard to see, but on here it tells the cruise porters that's taking your bag what floor you're on and your room number. So whenever the rooms are open and we can go to our rooms, if your bag has already been delivered, they will leave it right outside your cabin. Don't freak out. This is just a cruise thing. So for all my first time travelers, whenever you get on the ship, you'll see bags along the lines of all the rooms. That's just how they do. They put it outside your room. When you get to the room check-in, drag your bag on in and unpack or do whatever you have to do. For those that don't want to get the handy dandy little pouch for your bag tags, I will be bringing my stapler with staples so that if you have your bag's tag already printed, we fold it up, staple it to your bag for you, no problem. Now, the next thing you'll be printing are your bag tags. Your boarding passes. This is what a boarding pass looks like. Yes, I do not have colored ink. I'm sorry. You can make it all pretty and colorful. You will need this along with your travel documents to get on the ship. It'll tell you your boarding time. A boarding zone is what Carnival assigns, and the final time you can board the ship. For this last cruise we went on was 3 o'clock. And it's just some other information for the folks at the cruise terminal to go through. So you got to have that in hand along with your ID. Literally, and I put this on everything. It takes about 5, maybe 10 minutes to get through the main check-in process. Then when you get through with all their checks and balances, you can go sit and wait for them to call you onto the ship or when it's time for your class to board the ship. All right, so the fun stuff. cruise shirts. Okay, at first I wasn't gonna do one, but Mama T was like, we need to have a family shirt, and I totally agree. So we put together this one. We did send the link out for everybody to purchase the shirt. And I know some people said some of the sizes were running a little smaller. Sorry about that. Hopefully you got it all sorted out. Me personally, it's going to be hot. I don't want a tight shirt hugging me, you know, especially on that first day, because I'm going to be ripping and running. So I did give me a large, and if it's very comfortable, I would love to see the sea of purple with everybody shirts in hand. And of course, you know, I'm going to be filming somewhere, especially for the sail-away party, just to make sure that I capture everybody and share those special moments. So if you have not done so already, get your shirt. We want everybody to have their shirts on. The last day to purchase your shirt is May 20th. So make sure you get that in, and let us know if you have any questions or any issues ordering your shirt. Hey travelers, this is the end of part 1. We will have a second part with additional details coming out very soon. Be on the lookout. See you soon. Bye.